Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, as far as for the many years you guys have been filming together, what was the most memorable moment for you that changed from a working friendship to a friendship to making it a family?
I don't know if I can beat the question. That's
That's a good question.
a great question.
I have this thing that I do, which I think I've shared with you this before, but I have this thing that I do, which is every year around New Year's, I write down my goals. And I think it's like goals for the year, things you want to do for the year. And the year that I got on Supernatural, I wrote down the goal. The goal that I had that year was I want to be a series regular on a show with a cast that becomes my lifelong friends. And I don't know why I picked that thing to say about being on a show, because it really isn't necessarily part of a career move. But I did, and I was actually just thinking about that earlier today. It's like, that's really strange, because I actually feel like you guys and this whole crew, we're such a remarkably tight group of people. We love hanging out with each other. And it's been a gradual evolution to get to that point. Like, we all have grown to know and like and trust each other over time more and more. But I personally feel like we really have something very special in this cast, the extended cast. I mean, all the people that show up at these conventions are people whom I love. I love them. And that it wasn't fast, and it didn't happen at a moment. We hated each other for quite some time.
Yeah, there was a moment when you were like, wow, when I make those lists, I need to be much more specific. It's a series of events, I think, that leads to friendships. You can meet somebody and right away have an instant connection. Or you can meet somebody and be like, that was a cool person. Wouldn't mind hanging out with them again. And then that opportunity presents itself. And then now you've just furthered that relationship. And because relationships need to be nurtured. And when you have a show that has fortunately been on as long as it has, you're able to nurture relationships properly. And I think that when you have the right people nurturing those relationships, you get friendships. And that's what we've found. And not only with, a few people, with a lot of people. I know. I feel you. One of the moments that, because he's up here, one of the moments that jumps out to me that was like one of those moments that kind of furthers a relationship into a friendship was he and I were getting to know each other. We went out for dinner out at where are we, Gastown in Yaletown. And we sat down at this table, and it was this really kind of cool bar, and the waitress came up and she says, do you guys know what you want? And Misha takes my menu out of my hands, takes his menu, hands them to her, and goes, we'll take the 3 least ordered items on the menu. Now that would be fine if it was, a burger joint or a steakhouse or something to that degree. This was like a very kind of new age kind of a restaurant.
They had brains on the menu.
Yeah, you wonder why we know that. So we had that. We had sweetbreads, which is basically fried glands. And I'm like, man,
this friendship's gonna be a lot of work.
And I remember there was a piece of me that was like, I hate him right now. But I think I love him a little bit more too. Like that's just I think it's moments like that we've been able and very fortunately enough to have a lot of, and those really, they solidify friendships, and that's what we're very thankful to have.
Thank you.
Thank you.